Hi, boys and girls. Hope you're having a good day so far. I have another story that I want to share with you, and it's called A Book About Being Messy. Have you ever been messy at your house before? I know we've been a little messy at school sometimes. Sometimes it's okay to get messy, but we're going to read about what to do after you make a mess. All right. This book is about Annie. Reading about Annie can help you understand and deal with being messy. Here's Annie's dad. He says, "Oh, what a mess." And her little friend down here says, "Well, I'll say." Here's a very messy room. You are being messy when you spill food on your clothes or drop food on furniture or the floor. Her mom says you're making a mess with your food. The bunny says spilling food on your pet is being messy. You are being messy when you walk into clean areas with dirty feet, touch furniture or walls with dirty hands, or sit on furniture while wearing dirty clothes. Oh, look at Annie's dad. He says you're making a mess by getting dirt all over everything. And our little bunny friend says you should see the floor. You are being messy when you do not put your trash and garbage in appropriate containers. So she threw her wrapper and it didn't even go in the trash can. So Annie's friend tells her, "You are making a mess." You are being messy when you do not put things away after you use them, or when you do not put things where they belong, or when you do not put things away neatly. I think Annie's looking for a toy, but like her mom says, it's hard to find things when you're messy. I don't know, are you as messy as Annie is? I know I can be sometimes. You are being messy when you are careless with things such as your crayons, your paints, your pens, clay, or Play-Doh, or glue. You're being messy when you get things on your clothes or on your surroundings or just what's around you. Here's Annie and her older brother. She's working on an art project. And she says, "Can you guess what I'm making?" He says, "It looks like you're making a mess." And the little bunny says, "Yeah, that would have been my guess." So you can see she's not taking very good care of her art supplies. She's letting them get everywhere and get very messy. A mess can be displeasing, and that's just a word to say that messes are not very nice. Most people don't like messes. Most people enjoy cleanliness or being clean. They enjoy order and beauty. A mess is not clean. It is not orderly, and it is not beautiful. A mess does not make people happy. It usually makes them unhappy. And here Annie says, "I don't like the mess I made." And her family says, "We don't either." The little guy down here says, "Me neither." It's usually not very fun when we make big messes. A mess can be frustrating. People might become upset if they cannot find what they're looking for because it's either hidden by a big mess or it's not where it belongs. Annie's looking for her other shoe, but she says, "I can't find my other shoe." And her dad goes, "No one could find anything in this mess." Her mom said, "You should have put your shoes in the closet where they belong." And our little bunny friend says, "It's so crowded in here that I might have to go outside to change my clothes." A mess can be destructive. Your clothes and surroundings can be ruined by messy stains. Things that are left out can be damaged or hurt accidentally. Like maybe you leave a toy out on the floor and it gets stepped on and then it breaks. Things that are not put away carefully can be ruined. Annie's mom says, "You spilled paint on the tablecloth." Her brother says, "You didn't put my paints away and now they're all dried out." And her dad says, "You ruined this paper by stuffing it in a drawer." The little bunny says, "Not to mention you ruined my fur." Annie was not being careful and she was being messy and she ruined a lot of things. A mess can also be dangerous. People can slip and possibly fall because of messy spills. And people can trip over things that are out of place. So you can see Annie left out her toy car, and here her dad slipped on it. Let's see what they say. Did you remember to pick up your toys? Annie's mom asks. Oh no, Annie says. Last week he slipped on a banana peel that I left out. Because she wasn't cleaning and she was being messy, and her dad probably got hurt when he slipped and fell. Messes can be displeasing, frustrating, destructive, and dangerous. This is why you should try not to be messy. An accident can cause a mess. You can avoid accidental messes by being careful. Here we see that Annie spilled some water. She says, "It was an accident." Mom says, "I understand, but next time you need to be more careful." And the little bunny says, "Whew." There are things that you can do to avoid messes. To prevent a mess or to stop a mess from happening, you can cover your clothes before you do something that might be messy. Maybe you could use a napkin or an apron or a smock, sometimes like we use at school. You can protect the area where you're working by covering it with newspapers, an old sheet, or a tablecloth. So if you're going to do an art project, maybe you could ask your mommy or daddy if there's something that you could put down underneath so that you don't make a big mess. Mom tells Annie, "Thank you for putting newspaper under your easel, Annie." The little bunny guy says, "Oops, I'm sure glad there was paper there. You can see he spilled, but it's all caught on the paper, and so it's not as messy." To prevent a mess, you can keep yourself and your clothes as clean as possible. You need to wash your hands all the time. Wash your hands lots and lots and lots. You remember our washing hands song from school? You can sing that in your head and keep your hands nice and clean. Get the dirt, the mud, and the sand off your feet before you walk into a clean area. So if you go to play outside during these nice spring days, you need to make sure that you dust yourself off and get all the dirt off your shoes before you walk inside. Annie's mom tells her, "Thank you for cleaning the mud off your shoes before you come into the house." To prevent a mess, do not litter. Do you know what it means to litter? Littering is when you throw your garbage in a place that's not a garbage can. So if you throw some garbage outside and it lands on the ground instead of in a garbage can, that is littering, and that is not being kind to our environment and to our world. So do not litter. Put trash in a trash container. Put garbage in a garbage disposal or a garbage container or trash can. Put things away when you are finished using them, like your toys or your clothes. Put things away neatly where they belong. So don't just shove everything under your bed or in a bin. It needs to fit very nicely. Annie's dad tells her, "You're doing a great job." And the little bunny says, "I'll say." You and the people around you will be happier if you avoid being messy. It's okay to get a little messy sometimes when we're playing, but it's always very important to clean up those messes after we're done. And this sign up here says, "No more mess." And look how happy Annie and her family and her little bunny are now that there's no more mess. They can play, and after they're done, they'll put their toys away so that they have more room to play with other things. All right, boys and girls, so since we read a book about being messy and making sure we clean up our messes, I have a little challenge for you. I want to see what you clean up at your house. So think about, let's do 3 things that you can clean up at your house. So 3 things that I can clean up at my house are, I can help clean up the dishes after dinner. I can make sure that my clothes are put away. And if I have any toys that I was playing with, I can make sure that those are put away nice and neatly too, so that nobody steps on them and they don't get broken. So now I want to know what you clean at your house. Go ahead and try to be a super helper and clean up all your messes. All right, boys and girls, be safe. Have fun. Bye.